Didn't we just leave this party?
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
Didn't get enough last time, huh?
No.
Roaring camp.
Roaring Cramp.
Sydney?
What's going on at Roaring Cramp today?
Well, they're running the Heisler today as the second section, and we're going to go film it. Doesn't happen very often. They don't run that engine as much as they run the other two. Well, this year they will, because one of the two is down, but yeah, should be good.
I just noticed you're wearing a stylish new TSG shirt.
Oh, yeah.
What is this one?
This one is the Photo Line Etiquette shirt.
Photo line etiquette.
Yeah.
What does that say? Stand still and shut your face.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds like something I would have said.
Yeah.
Well, we've arrived early enough to go try to catch this thing over at the engine house.
Yep, we're going to check it out. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Looks like a beautiful day too. Look at
Yeah.
this. Couldn't ask for a better day up here.
Nope.
So part of what's happening here, and the reason why we came, is because the Heisler, which is right behind the shade that's in the picture right now, has a special whistle on it that hasn't been on the engine for a number of years. And our friend Trevor told us recently that they were going to do this special run today with that whistle. And it's a surprise for Milani, which is the lady that basically owns this place now. So it'll be really cool to see it, really cool to hear it. It's something that hasn't been heard up here in a really long time. So pretty cool. And then we figured, since we're going to document that anyway, we might as well chase trains too. And we got our costumes, we're good to go. If you look on the Dixie there, you can see a builder's plate, and if you've been watching the channel, you know that's the builder's plate that I came up here to document them installing that when it was put on a few months ago. So it's cool to see that in action too, because I have not seen the Shay run with the new builder's plate since they put it on. We know that guy. Normally referred to Trevor as conductor tri-tip, but today he's fireman tri-tip.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
Whistle sounds good. Brings back a lot of memories from back in the late 90s here.
Hadn't heard that whistle in a long time on the Heisler.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. That was fun.
I think we're going to have some good shots here today, guys.
Yeah.
Yep, that's for sure.
Let's chase some trains.
Let's do it.
So you can hear the whistle in the background. We're at a place here called Grizzly Flats, and it's not very flat. The grade here is in excess of 8%, and I'm not mistaken. It really is in excess of 8%. And you'll see especially when these locomotives come working up this grade, they are really getting after it. So this ought to be good.
I've positioned my GoPro in the middle of the gauge here. This is the first time I've ever done this shot on the narrow gauge. The rails are a little shorter here, a little lighter weight rail. So if all goes according to plan, I'll get a good shot. Or if not, the train will pick up the camera and take it away, and we'll never see it again.
Yeah.
We got our hiking shoes on.
The switchback's pretty fun to get shots at. You can
I kind of want to try that.
You can go down the road, which used to be the old right-of-way, and then climb down the kind of steep cliff line, and then you can get a shot from one of the sidings on the bottom tail track, and you can see the whole grade. They did so much brush cutting that you can now see pretty well.
Right?
Yeah.
My favorite spot's at the top of the hill up here.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Like I said, it brings back a lot of memories hearing the whistle up here again for the first time in probably 20 years.
Yeah. That shot of the train running over the camera was pretty remarkable too.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to.
That was good.
Hopefully we showed that on the video.
Yeah.
You know, there's a funny story I just thought of.
Yeah.
Since we're going to Indian Creek Trestle later,
That little
last time I
pounds of
went
gray.
there to get a shot, I had my camera set up along the road and stuff, and was ready for the train to come uphill. It was the Dixie. I did get my shot in the end. But behind me, two mountain bikers were riding, and I heard them coming in the distance, and I was like, oh no, the train's gonna be here soon, and I gotta move my camera. And I look back, and all of a sudden, one of the mountain biker guys just eats it on like a root or something and falls over. And he tried to kind of like then hop the tracks afterwards and fell down again. And then he saved himself. And I was like, nice save, dude. And he said, thanks, and kept going along. But some biker guy just ate it right in front of me.
Did you film it?
I didn't film it, and I was so angry. But my camera was the wrong direction.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're going to notice we got quite a hike up here. And so we're chasing trains. We're chasing trains on foot.
Foot, yeah.
Yeah.
Backwoods.
This is why most people don't
It's
take
awful
videos.
foggy up here, though.
Is it foggy?
Can't believe-
Let's see why
can't
it's
believe
foggy.
The fog is unbelievable.
There's a name for this place. I can't remember what it is. But we just about beat the train. Well, we did beat the train here, Paul. Look. We're here and the train isn't. Look at this. I think we'll just take the shot of it right now. The reason why it took that train so long to get here is because they had to traverse the switchback. And yeah,
It's an awesome spot.
yeah, I like it.
You really smell the redwoods up here, too.
That was pretty cool.
That was.
I'm glad we came. Yeah, I'm glad we came across the tracks there, Paul. Good call on that.
Yeah.
So what is this place called, Paul? You know about this place, right?
This is called Log Camp.
Log Camp.
They recently did a bunch of brush cutting here, so now you can see the train coming around this super crazy curve behind the camera here. And it's actually a very steep grade in this area. It's hard to tell when you're standing here, but the train really feels it. Yeah.
Hello.
Are you guys horsing around?
We're horsing around. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? Oh, we're doing a photo shoot?
Yeah.
You get tired of that. We told you guys to get it. Well, we saw the iron horse. That was the OG horse.
That's the flesh horse.
Yeah, the flesh horse.
All right, so what you just saw there is the Heisler, the train that we just saw coming around that corner, navigating the tail track on the switchback. And we're walking down here, and you can see that there are old ties on the road here. Because what we're walking on actually is the right-of-way that used to go up to the track where we just came from when they had a corkscrew trestle here. And we're going to go down here and look at the remnants of that corkscrew trestle. It's pretty cool.
So this is the famous corkscrew trestle. It was at Roaring Camp for a number of years, and then it had a bad fire in July of 1976, and it all burned up. It was a really bad moment for Roaring Camp because this was the only way to get to the top of Bear Mountain, and they were stumped as to what to do. But just like any logging railroad would do, and that's what Roaring Camp is trying to model, they found another way up the mountain. They always do. And they built a switchback in just a few months, and that got them up the hill with nearly an 11% grade at some point. But this corkscrew trestle was a much more elegant way to get up the hill, and the grade was not very steep. And photos from the 60s really show how beautiful it was.
You know, it's really cool because I've always known about this, but you can see where the track went under itself.
Mm-hmm. It's all still here.
And it went up there, and it would have curved around and then come up along here and then up to where we just were and up that road to where it met up with the track where we just took those shots. That is way cool.
And the amazing thing, look, is in the time since this burned, that tree popped up right in the middle of the right-of-way there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
you're right.
So that tree's probably 50 years old too.
Yeah.
Or close to it. 40. You said 76, right?
76.
And here's the other end of that bridge. As you can see, it went across here. And that's where we just were, all up in there. And it's kind of hard to see through all the overgrown trees and stuff, but there's still most of a trestle there. So if you look at this, you can see the top part of that trestle. We're on the other side now, obviously. And then here's the other bit that went off the main line. And the main line would have connected up right down here where these guys are walking. And right now, what this is the beginning of the tail track for the switchback on the lower part of the switchback. And that switch that they're stepping over right now, or those rails, I guess, is the way up the switchback. It's pretty cool what they've done here.
You know, when you're standing in a spot like this with this impressive switchback and the amazing trestle here, which is like a crazy feat of engineering through this forest, it's just things like this aren't built anymore. And the founder of Roaring Camp, F. Norman Clark, had the vision for a 1880s railroad, and this railroad's more 1930s, 40s-ish, but his whole thing was to make it an authentic experience of a logging railroad, and that was done, and things like that just aren't done. This Roaring Camp was never actually a railroad, the narrow gauge section of it, so he had the vision to do this dramatic railroad and snake it up the mountain.
Yeah, it's basically one guy's one-to-one narrow gauge railroad that he wanted to build.
Model railroad he wanted to build in real life.
Yeah.
But it's turned out to be much more than that. Now they have, or I mean they've had forever, the Santa Cruz and Big Trees Pacific standard gauge line, which used to be the SP line that went over the mountain. So it's turned out from this small operation to this enormous thing with two different railroads, and it's pretty incredible.
What's really ironic when you think about it is there is actual authentic historical value to the other standard gauge line.
Yes, that's the interesting part.
Right, as opposed to this. So
you think this would be the more historical portion, but really the other line is actually the one with the real history.
Yeah, that was the last part of the former South Pacific Coast Railroad that went over the Santa Cruz Mountains to Santa Cruz from Alameda.
That's right.
And it was standard gauged a little bit after the earthquake, and Southern Pacific at that point owned it. And they ran trains up through here, I think, until the 40s or 50s, if I remember right.
1940 is when the line over the mountain was taken apart.
Was it 1940?
1940.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there is a lot of history in this area. And those guys right down there know all of it. You see them? Look at these guys. They even look professional. Look at that. Now we're getting the snacks going here. What are you guys having?
well, I have this delicious pork jerky here, and John asked me what's the difference between this and beef jerky. I said, well, it's made with pork.
One of the interesting things. You know, we do these chasing trains things, and sometimes they're big elaborate trips that are planned for months. But this excursion today, as of 24 hours ago,
Was not planned.
I didn't even know about it,
No.
right? So we were leaving Niles Canyon. I went out to Niles Canyon yesterday for something, and we were leaving at about 7, and I got a text from this guy, and it says, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I knew something was up, because usually you don't start a conversation with, "What are you doing tomorrow?"
Yeah.
And it turned out that they had that special whistle on the Heisler here today, and
Original voice of the locomotive that it wore pretty much from the time that it arrived here at Roaring Camp.
right? And the other cool thing about it is they're running basically 4 trips up and down the hill with 2 different trains. So there's a lot of action and a lot of opportunity to get some good shots.
So 8 trains total.
Yeah. So as I'm driving home, I'm thinking it better be whatever he's asking me for, it better be good. So I called him when I got home, found out what it was, found out all about what was going on, called Trevor, because, you know, he's working on the Heisler today. And I'm like, yeah, how could I not go and do that? So here we are.
Hey guys, all ready for this next shot?
So for this little outing, I'm using the lightweight tripod because we're basically just hiking up and down this hill. And believe me when I say it's quite a hike. I'm guessing we've probably hiked a good, probably close to 2 miles by now. Pretty easily.
At least, yeah.
And this tripod that the camera's on here is very light. So having the camera on a light tripod, but it's still pretty sturdy, has really saved my back. And the other thing was I've been using this smaller backpack. Usually I don't have a backpack that small. But I've got everything I need, you know, extra batteries, extra everything I need, so it's good. Plus Kevin got this other bag. He was putting his tripods in there even.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a pretty good game plan too.
Yeah, I've got 2 tripods, beef jerky, water, toilet paper. Got everything you could possibly need.
Luckily we haven't needed the toilet paper yet.
Yeah.
So behind me here we have what's called the leaning tree. Now this tree has been leaning at an angle over the railroad tracks for the entire time the railroad has been here, and it actually is so close to the tracks that the cabs of the locomotives will sometimes hit on the corner of this tree. As you can see, there's a very defined mark up there where it has happened in the past, and on certain engines like the Heisler, you have to actually push the engine when you go by. They used to do that in the past, and the way that they fix this is they have to drag the tracks over, and it's been a process that happens every couple of years. This tree leans more, and you have to drag the tracks over more in this spot. So at one point, this right-of-way was a little bit further towards the edge of the cliff, but they've moved it.
Well, I gotta say, we don't get to go out too much, but I'm glad we're able to go out today.
Yeah, and it was a last minute thing, too.
Right, like we were talking about before. I had no plans to be here, even as many as 24 hours ago right now.
Yep.
But here it is, and we got our next shot set up. Check this out. This is called Indian Creek Trestle. And it's actually a pretty impressive bridge when you look at it. Not like the corkscrew trestle, really, but still cool.
Well, actually, there is one thing about it. It is the tightest passenger-carrying trestle in North America.
Yeah, it's definitely a tight curve.
It is, yeah.
And it's also on an incline, too.
A little bit, yeah. Very much so afterwards. It goes off of the bridge and then immediately to the 8.5% grade. So
yeah.
It's not a nice railroad.
Hey, I thought that was a pretty cool shot, and I think we got a lot of really good shots here today. So, and you know, it's funny, I've been saying this the whole day, even 24 hours ago now, I still didn't know I was going to be here today. So this is how it happens when you're out chasing trains. So we'll get some final thoughts from the other adventurers here. And I gotta say, I'm pretty excited about what I got today. That was some really cool stuff. What are your final thoughts to your shots today?
It was a great day, John. We saw 8 trains, 4 up and 4 down, in the Heisler and the Shea. My favorite train is that Heisler. The way it pounds up the grades, it's unbelievable. And then standing right next to it as it goes by, you can feel that ground shake. Great day, beautiful, shirt sleeve weather. Doesn't get better than that. You're gonna chase trains, this is it. This is the holy grail.
It's a great day out here today. It was nice to see the Heisler out and about. Don't get to see that too often. And perfect weather. Great day.
I thought it was exciting. What about you?
I thought it was exciting too. I'm glad with the amount of shots we were able to get, and I'm super happy that we didn't have to climb the mountain a couple times.
Right.
Just one time is enough for me.
We could have gone a couple more times.
Well, maybe.
We need to exercise. But,
Or having to go all the way up, right?
Yeah.
'Cause that's kind of a
we didn't
hike.
Go to Bear Mountain. No.
Yeah. There are some good shots up there that we didn't get to take, but I gotta say, guys, I'm really excited about the shots I got today.
it was fun. It was fun hanging out with all you guys too. What a team!
That's really what it's about.
Team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good day.
Good day.